Good evening, everyone. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Teresa Perrin, and I'm going to discuss ILAG with you again today. Congrats to all of you that have been in this play since $2.05. It certainly had an amazing run today, and I hope that you guys cashed out at the top and are able to re-enter. Guys, this has been phenomenal. Absolutely, we have crushed this stock. It 5x'd today compared to what it was at when we first bought in. Absolutely unbelievable. I was not expecting that much of a run. I am still very bullish on this play as it is in an uptrend, and I do think there's going to be a lot more taking from this. Guys, I will get into it when I discuss the chart towards the end of the video about my thoughts about what happened today. But anyways, let's get into some very brief statistics that I want to go over and facts regarding this. Let's get started. Please remember, nothing I say is financial advice, and always do your own due. First off, guys, let me just say that ILAG is trending on StockTwits. It is number 3 on the trending tickers. Number 1 is Lucid, and number 2 is Top, which got quite a bit of action today. Then on the most active tickers, it is number 9, and the most active comes from the amount of messages in their chat rooms. Of course, SPY being number 1 today. And guys, we are also trading on the watchers number 1. We have the number 1 most new watchers for ILAG today, which is absolutely phenomenal, guys. And we are the only ticker that is trending, most active, and on the watchers list. We are on all 3 of these top 10 lists, guys, so this is fabulous. This gives me great confidence that people are going to want to learn more about ILAG this weekend and potentially invest in it or join in the runs on Monday. So that is great for us. Just a brief overview. This has a very small free float of only 8.7 million shares, and the volume, guys, over the last 3 months has been an average of 8.17 million shares. So essentially the entire float is getting traded every single day. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This is a lot of the reason I believe there are massive, and I mean massive amounts of naked shorts in this stock. Not just that, but when we go over the charts, you'll see the way that this came out strong and just dumped. And there's a lot of people that I feel are probably stuck in this play. We are not one of them, so thank goodness for that. At least I hope you're not. If you're watching this, if you bought the top, ouch, guys, we got to do better than that if that's the case. But let's talk about that a little bit more when we're looking at the chart. The volume today was 5 times what it normally is. We were at 40.46 million shares traded at the time I took this picture. This stock has a lot more room to run, in my opinion, because the 52-week low is $1.49 and the 52-week high is $26.40. All right, guys, here you can see the short-term analysis from Webull and the medium are both to the upside. There is no long-term, guys, because the stock has only been trading for a few months. But it does have 3 bullish and 1 bearish signal, and the last signal being bullish. So, guys, again, if you're looking at this right from this line, you can see it is very much respecting this uptrend, and I do believe it continues. As far as today's high of $12, there was no resistance there. It doesn't add up. So, kind of crazy. I think we'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but something to think about. I just want to give you the, well, first of all, here is the chart, and as you can see, originally I was thinking, this is going to go bearish because you see like a head and shoulders pattern, but nope, we broke out to the upside, so that is voids all of that, guys, and we are still fine, and we are fine on the daily pattern as well. And in fact, I think we're making a wedge that we should break out of to the upside on Monday. That would be my expectation. Of course, anything can change over the weekend as far as geopolitical, because macroeconomics can affect the stock market, as we all are very well aware by now. Now, here's where things get really interesting and why I believe this is very, very wrong. It's saying that the short interest is only 4.31%. I assure you guys, there's no way possible this is accurate. Based on the price action and everything else I'm seeing and how they're trying to drive the price down with no shares left to short, there's something bigger to this picture than what meets the eye. That I can guarantee you. Can't prove it, but just from my knowledge in the market, I can tell you there's something definitely more going on here. Because look it, there are 0 shares available to short, and the cost to borrow is 145.78%. The short volume ratio, as you can see, check it out. Today, the total volume was, well, according to FINRA, what they have is 19,166,425, and 10,606,647 of that was in the dark pool, for a total of 55.34%. These numbers do not match up with what I said earlier for the number of shares taking place. Why is that? That's a fabulous question. One I'd like to know myself, but unfortunately, I don't have the answer to, guys. But something is up here, because look at these numbers for the total FINRA volume. Well, it's, you know what, why they don't add up? Because it's probably just from the FINRA traded. But something's very, very strange, like I said, in this stock. And I think that there's going to be more to the story. And I think we're going to see a lot bigger numbers coming out of this stock in the very near future, hopefully beginning on Monday. So anyways, guys, as you can see, the failure to delivers, or at least the ones reported, are not significant. There's nothing more coming up than what was due today, that 30 million. And then we have on Tuesday, 27,906,000. Wednesday, 15,552,000. Again, that looks like it's getting less, so we may only have 15 million due. On the 13th, it's hard to tell because we cannot see what goes beyond this, right? But my guess is this short interest is going up, up, up. Look at the price when it's rising here towards July and August. Look at those failure to delivers going up, 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 right? Expect that again. I certainly do. Anyways, guys, let's get into the chart. So looking at the 1-year daily chart, which ILAG does not have a whole year of trading, guys, under its belt, as it only started trading in July, I believe it was. And the first day it traded, you can see this big red candle all the way to the left. That's where you get the all-time high of $26.40, and it went as low as $5.72 that day. Now you'll notice that 572 becomes, or somewhere in that category, becomes a very important range for ILAG. And you can see that a lot of times you get candles that come close, either dipping right above or right below it. Like today's candle, the body of that candle is sitting right above it, which I think is extremely bullish considering the last 3 candles before it, the bodies all sat below, and then that fourth one, the first one that touches it and pulls back. So this is a very significant number on that VWAP. Well, the VWAP is just slightly below it, guys, but something to pay attention to going forward, because we are holding above VWAP today with the body of this candle. So I am looking at that going forward as a marker of an area that we want to hold above, at least for the body of our candles, because we want to keep going in an upwards pattern. Now, as you can see, both our 13, the green, and the blue, the 20 SMA, both are crossed above that 48 SMA, giving us that nice move to the upside that we got today. I think that the trend can continue, guys. I am very bullish on this because it shouldn't have ever stopped. I feel like this was a market maker's test because there was no resistance that it met. It was the strangest thing watching the level 2 today. And only 2 things came to mind. And one being, are the market makers testing because this is about to have a massive run? Because technically this shouldn't have had resistance, guys, until it hit that $26.40. There's nothing to stop it in its way. It was very strange the way it was running, that it just pulled back that way. And I'm going to tell you that watching the level 2, it seemed like market makers were trying to pull it down. And I'm guessing there were a lot of new or inexperienced traders that were nervous and selling out on those pullbacks. You know, when the candle halts down, it doesn't mean that it's going to keep going, guys. Normally when you see something starting to squeeze in the manner that this was, it continues upwards. It was quite odd to me what was going on there. And I could see that market makers were definitely trying to drive the price down because there were orders for higher amounts not getting filled or being filled for less, because I could see them sitting on the level 2 and people just kept lowering their bids. It was just very, very strange. So anyways, guys, this is what the daily chart looks like. I mean, the daily chart. I want to show you the intraday chart now, just so you can see where we stand. So in the after hours, once again, market makers tried to pull this right down after market close. Guys, with little volume on a Friday, they have the ability to do this, right? It's very easy to manipulate this price. Now, look at this move up too, followed by this move down. Look at all the gaps that this move to the upside left. It was very significant, and obviously they got filled on the way down, but there is still one to the upside that did not get filled. And I tweeted that out because I noticed it and said, oh, we have a small gap fill, guys. And that's from approximately $7.49 to the bottom of this candle, which is $7.57. So from $7.49 to $7.57, ILAG has a small gap. And that has yet to be filled because the highest candle here came up to $6.87. So that is as high as we got after this nice move to the upside, followed by this massive sell-off. Guys, again, this sell-off was very, very strange. And even technically, the 13 SMA wasn't even curling down at that point, because anybody that trades on like the 1348, you know that you got the buy here when the 13 crossed above, right? Because there's your run. Now, the 13 didn't cross below until we had already hit our bottom and we're starting to move up. And all of a sudden it came like literally very fast down. I was watching it. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing I ever saw. It was the fastest run that got deteriorated I ever saw too. And guys, this first red candle that you see up at the top here, let me tell you, we didn't halt up here, okay, where we should have. Then the market maker pulls the price back down, but they can't fight it. It goes back up and they halt it up less than where they didn't halt it up the first time. They halted it on the second green candle. It was the most strange thing I ever saw. Then it opens up and they try to drive it down. It starts pulling up further. They drive it down and halt it right here. It didn't even make as big of a move as this candle. I'm telling you, it was... words can't describe how weird this was, guys. They were trying to drive it, and they did, and people just kept lowering their price, and I'm sure it was out of fear to sell. And then that gets to a certain point where you're not going to lose profits, right? So then everybody starts selling. Just kind of normal what you see happening. But guys, they got it all the way back down to like $4.20. Maybe even hit that 4. We have a good support somewhere between 410 and 420. I'll let you know that. That seems to be a very big supply zone for this stock, because every time it pulls down, it immediately comes back up. Now, as you see, it continues to make moves. Towards the end of the day, guys, at 3 o'clock, we pretty much got that 1348 crossover, tried to make some moves up. And then, like you see here at 4 o'clock, they immediately pulled it down. Don't trust these candles in the after hours. There is not a whole lot of volume. As you can see, the volume has died off. And they're just trying to get, the paper hands or whoever's willing, not wanting to hold over the weekend. They know that they can get them to sell their shares cheap. Like I went over in the beginning of the video, the short interest, guys. Something's not adding up in this ticker. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you my thoughts are there has to be a crap ton of naked shorts in here. And I want you to look at all of these Chinese stocks with low floats. And I believe that this was one of them. I'm going to double check that over the weekend. But I do believe that this was in that whole HKD Starbucks time that these IPOs came out. They all, I think, are heavily naked shorted because they didn't have enough shares to meet the demand. So I'm going to be curious to see when we get the next set of FTDs out what we see, because I don't know where they're hiding any of these guys. There's no options. So it's just very, very strange to me. Again, FTDs, they're self-reported. We can only go by what they say, right? We don't really know the truth to this. But my guess is this is going to make a continuation. We might get a small pullback depending on what it does in the after hours, if we can bring this 48 back up. But I do expect to see a substantial move next week back to the upside. And now I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on the stock as people look over the weekend to what tickers had some action. And there is more to this story that we are going to find out, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, those of you who have been in this ticker with me since I first called it out at $2.05, you've done very well. And if you've rode, there's a couple ways you could be playing this, guys. If you're watching it and you're able to get these runs and pull out and buy back in for less, then congratulations, because you are doing very, very well as we see frequent runs in the stock followed by pullbacks. I did not expect this massive pullback, but anyone who is able to sell that top, congrats. I want to just speak to something that I'm seeing online. Guys, the goal of buying a stock is you buy it low and you sell it high. So, this would be a good supply zone for next week to be buying it hopefully low in anticipation that it's going to go higher and get past this high, right? And now, guys, we have resistance at $7.28, and we're going to have resistance again where this candle hits the top up at about $11.27, $12, somewhere in that range. It looks like $12 is the top there, but when I point on this candle, oh, that's the open. I apologize. $12, guys. Around $12, we're going to have resistance too, and probably the tips of both of these are going to act as resistance, which the high of those candles are $11.62. So in that $11.62 to $12 range, I'd expect some resistance. But again, going on the daily candle is more like it. So like I said, anywhere between that $11.62 and $12 range. Just because we know that these two tips hit that $11.62, interestingly enough, because it doesn't correlate, and this didn't correlate on the daily chart to anything. It's very, very strange. But anyways, guys, that is the chart for you. And like I said, I'd expect, depending on where we move and how this 48 SMA closes, I'd expect a small pullback to dip below it on Monday, followed by a move to the upside. Again, anything can change with market conditions and anything like that, but this is how I see this playing out, because I do strongly believe that what we're seeing for short interest is not accurate. And I'll tell you, somewhere online, people are posting that there's like 148% short interest, or 146, something like that. And I asked, where are you getting this number from? Because it's not showing that on Fintel. So if anyone knows and can send me a screenshot, tag me on Twitter, or, put it in the comments below where they're getting that number from. I'd love to see it, because I can't find that anywhere. And look at, guys, it's starting to move up again in the after hours. So I think it's going to get back to where we closed at today, which it should. This pullback was definitely just market makers taking advantage of low volume. And who knows, it may even break out higher and we may get some people buying in the after hours, either shorts covering, because like I said, I truly believe that there's naked shorts in this, and that's what's causing this, because this is not just all retail driven. Somebody needs these shares, or this wouldn't have happened today. And believe me when I say I believe that this was a test for a move that we're going to see bigger. I think market makers are trying to figure out what price they need to get this to in order to create some selling pressure so they can get more shares, because they keep bringing it to this level and they're getting probably just the new people that are buying in, and probably sadly people that bought in high and are getting scared now because they see the stock dipping and they're selling low. Please don't let that be you. Please, 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 if you're going to buy it in the demand zones. Like right now, I would say there's a good chance this is going to go up again. Obviously, I can't make promises, and this is not financial advice, but if you were to buy it right now at $6, you wouldn't want to sell it below down at $4, guys. You want to sell it higher, up at $8, $10, $12, or even where we get our first resistance, $26.40. That's honestly where I expected to see the pullback. So this whole thing was quite surprising. And like I said, there's definitely more to this, guys. But anyways, enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to seeing what ILAG brings us on Monday.